You're up.
Bids and Infrastructure, March 16, 2023. Roll call. David Israel is absent. Edward Grossman, absent. Dominic.
Here.
Stuart Richland,
Here.
Patricia's, Joanne. Here. And I'm here. Of the committee, John Gregg,
Yeah.
Jerry Satowski. David Boaz.
Yes.
Now, since we're realigning, Judy Amsler, I understand, is no longer on this committee.
She has resigned.
And Dennis Burrows,
She has resigned.
he has resigned also. Richard Handelsman, we know he's out sick. So, the committee has a quorum. We can now conduct business.
Excellent. I'm gonna take it down.
Sure.
All right, thank you, everyone. All right, just to give you guys some updates. I'm sure some of you have noticed the new sidewalk going in on the north side of Century Boulevard. I'll be out there right after this meeting. Last week, Atlantic Southern worked solely on the walkways, and a lot of walkway repairs done. That's kind of a once a year thing where they just come in. We look for even not just things that are a trip hazard, but they're gonna become a trip hazard, just give it time. They got a lot done.
There's a big one at Four Corners.
Yeah, that was a big one. And then, the final thing is the charger that we approved, was supposed to go in today, but it's been postponed till next week. And I let the security committee know, the security vendor know that.
Yeah.
They're ready, they have the cars, so it's just on us now. All right, I've got 3 proposals for you guys this week. The first one is more paving repairs. This is a big chunk. 7,700 square feet. Just under $50,000, comes out to $6.39 per square foot, which is, you know, what it is. If you notice on the map, I've concentrated on secondary roads. This is in preparation to crack filling and striping, which I'll bring next month. If you look, most of these roads, actually all of these roads, are inverse crown roads, and I didn't take pictures because you've seen them 1,000 times. What we're dealing with as far as deterioration is these roads are inverse crown. The water moves to the center and then moves laterally to the storm drains. That's where we get the deterioration. And I do notice an acceleration of that, so I'm gonna want to get on top of that, get a big piece done. That's pretty much it. I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise,
I'll make a motion that we accept the Atlantic Southern's, $49,254 bid.
I'll second it.
Okay.
and I think we could all agree that this vendor is doing very good work
Oh,
for
he
us.
is.
I really don't
Yeah.
see the need at this point to bid this out, but that's on you guys. If you want the next batch to be bid out, you gotta let me know. Happy to do it. It's time consuming, but I'm satisfied with the quality of this work.
You know that, when you bring this up for the other committees, they're gonna say that. Why didn't you bid it out?
No, that's your job to say that.
Yeah.
This committee's job.
Well, I mean, you know, if you're satisfied and
I am.
everybody else is satisfied, I have no problem with it, but. You know,
Well, we've had experience with the paving lady and whatever, and heavy coarse stones.
Yeah, there was a
Lack
difference.
of.
The aggregate was different. Yeah.
I mean,
We
the
don't-
roads are
who we go
deteriorating.
by, and we're living with the ones with the.
Make no mistake, I'm spending more this year than I did last year in
Yeah.
the same days.
Do we have, is there any more discussion on this proposal?
no, it's
No.
Okay, the proposal is to accept the Atlantic Southern's proposal of road repair for $49,254. I made the motion, John Gregg seconded the motion. Dominic? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, Stuart?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Bob Rivera is out, Patricia's out, Joanne? Yes. Okay, committee, John Gregg,
yes,
Jerry Sadowski, and David Boaz.
Yes. Thank you.
Passes.
Thank you. Moving on to the next proposal. This is for fencing.
Defense.
This is the last section of deteriorated fences along the south side of Century Boulevard. I really should have did this all at once, frankly, but once we did all the other sections, it's noticeable. Top bars are messed up, and you look closely at the bases, the bases are rotted. So I went to budget again. Got a proposal for, it's 160 feet, 5-foot posts on center. I remembered this time, $6,519. Identical to the last batch you did for me. And pretty cut and dry. Green, and it's green vinyl. And that's it.
Make a motion that we accept it.
Second.
Has to be done. Has to be done.
This is kind of discretionary at the beginning, but it just looks bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fence, you know, it works.
I see no sense in discussing it if everybody's agreement.
Is there any other discussion on it?
I don't think we're having any bad luck with the 5-foot on center. I think that's a good thing to stay with.
Yeah, that's our new building standard.
Okay.
It really does, to go back to my previous career, but it just makes the top rail look better.
Yes.
You know, you don't get.
All right, fence repair budget fence proposal, 5-foot on center post, 160 feet. The amount is $6,519. John Gregg made the motion, seconded by David Boaz. Dominic,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Barbara Rivera is out. Joanne,
Yes.
committee, John Gregg,
Yes.
Jerry Sadowski. David Boaz.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you. On to the next thing. Well, this is Donald's luck. The most expensive thing you got craps out when you most need it. The driest month of the year. Just to give you an update on, just to give you how our irrigation system works. We have 27 irrigation zones, 27 irrigation pump stations. Most of them service our residential sections. They are unpressurized. Basically, they turn on at night. They pressurize the distribution system, the pipes, they push out water. Along our main roads, the perimeter roads, north, south, east, west, Century Boulevard, West Drive. That's a pressurized system. That system is under pressure 24 hours a day. There's a mechanism that monitors the pressure in the pipes and turns itself on when it needs to, when pressure goes down. That's what you're looking at in this picture, and as you can see, it's
Corroded.
well, it's 30 years old. I mean, I didn't even open it up, but not that I don't pretend to know what goes on in there. It could be mice working, but there are 2 of these stations. One on the south side, Somerset, and this one is in the north side, which is near Chatham, and it needs to be replaced. It's beyond repair.
Sure.
Chabot's been taking good care of this stuff. He's the only one we let touch our pump systems, and we're looking at a 21.5. I asked Dave Boaz to do a price check on the components. He thinks it's fairly priced, and by the way, thank you for that, Dave. Saved me a lot of time. And that's basically it. It's a rebuilding of the pictures that you're seeing here.
Has to be done, that's all there is to it.
Yeah,
So I propose that we do it.
I'll second it.
Okay, John Gregg, seconds. Okay, to replace irrigation pump, new 20 horsepower by Chabot proposal is for $21,511. Motion was made by Stewart and seconded by John Gregg. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, Dominic, yes, yes.
Just a couple things I'd like to say about this. I'm familiar with both Pentair and Danfoss. If it were me doing the job, it would be Danfoss because I'm a little bit more familiar with them than Pentair. But when I looked at the list of motors that Donald sent to me, it looks like, probably with good reason, these pumps and motors have been upgraded to 20 horsepower.
Yeah, I actually know the reason for that.
And it's whatever, there has to be a reason for them doing that.
I'm happy to give you that answer because I know it, and I don't always. All right, look, some years ago, when Sal Bumalo was in charge of our irrigation system, this is when we turned off the wells and went on to reclaim water. We had a problem because the reclaimed water is in our water bodies. We have several sections that are not close enough, not close to a water body, specifically Plymouth, Greenbrier, Kingswood, and Gulf's Edge. The right way to have done this back then would be to establish 4 more pump stations and run distribution system to those sections and adequately size it so that you could push the water that far. But naturally, since that was a more expensive solution, that's not what we did. What we did instead was hook those residential sections into this system. So what you have going on is you have a system that was designed to only take care of the perimeter roads, now taking care of a lot more. I've heard 140, I heard that this system's working between 140 and 150% of capacity. That's why during periods of drought, our landscape looks a little water thirsty because they're not getting enough water. And that's not going to change. If this committee wants to get started on fixing that problem, you're talking about 4 more stations and it would be a capital expense, something we can discuss. But in the meantime, I don't think that fed into this wearing out. I think it's just old. But that's the reason why we juiced up the pumps. Well, it was Sal that did it, actually.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
When I price this out, and I can only do on a jobber's scale,
Right.
but I don't know what that, I don't even know who handles Danfoss. Both these companies do sell through distribution, but they don't. They compete against distributors too. But it all depends on what product it is. I figure Chabot has a good $15,000 to $16,000 worth of product.
On a 20, yeah.
So I don't think that's really a bad markup for the.
It's funny you should say that because he called me yesterday. He says, Donald, when you get this approved, would you mind cutting me a check for 15K? And I'm like, yeah, I know why.
There you go. Well, very good. Thank you.
He's got a lot of money laying out there.
Thanks.
All right, Dominic,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Joanne,
Yes.
committee, John Gregg,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
passes unanimously.
All right, we're in open discussion. Before we start, I just want to, the fellows that were in just now, I prefer we not make that part of open discussion. Okay? And that's it. You guys can hit me with whatever you want. So besides that,
Southampton opened up a well of their own.
correct.
They capped it and we still don't get any use of the water needed.
When Southampton A reopened a well and somehow they got away with it. South Florida, what Manchester went
It's
after
not
them.
on the property.
It's on their property,
Is it?
you know, right on
Behind the fence, yeah.
behind the fence. When the new board took over there, they was spending a lot of money taking care of that pump, you know, and changing filters and whatnot. So they asked if they could go back on our system. And I said, sure, we'll put you right back on. I said, but never give up that pump because they'll never let you have it again and you never
That's right.
know. So that's what's going on there.
Have you got a?
Yeah.
Is there a target date on any, about the sound wall?
Yes, glad you brought that up, John. Last month, I went to the informational meeting for the Turnpike widening project. Long story short, the widening project will reach us last quarter 2024, first quarter 2025. All the widening will be on the west side, the other side of the highway.
Oh, it's not, but they said they're gonna put a sound wall on our side.
We've been confirmed to have a sound wall along the entire stretch that borders Century Village, between 14 and 22 feet high. But the turnpike itself, the finished product, will be no closer to Century Village than it is now. All the widening is on the other side. The reason for that is there's a gas line that runs the length there, so they can't mess with that.
Will the sound wall impede our canals or anything?
No,
Okay,
I don't
so,
think so.
okay, good.
No, it'll be all on their property. You
Okay.
just won't, you won't hear the cars as much.
I don't hear them anyway, so. I think.
You're irrigated out, John.
That's all right. I don't even wear them during the daytime, so,
As of, just so that everybody knows, this committee had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 committee members. It is now down to 4. We're updating all our records. So the chair, so that you know, your committee has 4 members on it. The only one that's out is Richard because he got hit by a car.
Yeah.
So, we're updating all our records so that all our committees are up to date. And, you will be notified. If I will pass this around, if you have a different email address, can you please correct it? So Joanne, Carolyn can update your records.
And there are a few new executive board members that I think would be appropriate for this
Okay.
board. I'll give you their names in it.
Okay,
It's on you whether to call them or not.
Where the vice presidents are good, it's the committee members. I just want to make sure that we have the correct, so that
Yeah.
when the email goes out, it is,
He's not
Okay.
on there.
all right?
they,
golf course update?
I'm seeing traffic between our lawyer and their lawyer. Looks like they're coming to some kind of agreement. The finished product will go obviously to everyone. But yeah, it's a work in progress. I think they're making progress. The other thing is, the engineer that we hired started their survey. We just sent them a deposit on the job. So as I find stuff out, I just bring it to everybody. Yes, John,
and the new temple
what about it?
at
The medical building.
yeah,
Question?
pools and everything, and
Last time I spoke to one of the owners, they are moving ahead with moving it, but however, I see no signs of that on the code, on the permit list.
permits,
They have not applied for a permit yet.
so they are moving.
So they said yes, but I see no evidence of it.
is it worth mentioning what we found on the railing system out the other day? No?
Which railing? Oh, yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. What's more infrastructure than a collapsed staircase? Yeah, I mean, this happens often.
I hope not.
A stairway partially collapsed in Camden G. Naturally, we got the call and not Seacrest, so Dom and I went down there. Near as we can tell, someone probably dropped a refrigerator or something on it on Sunday, bouncing it up the stairs, and one of the stairs cracked in half, and one side of all the railings and balusters fell in. So we, called security, had security block it off, and then let Seacrest know. I also put a report into code enforcement. There's a case number, so it's on the books that they have to fix it. Can't just leave it that way.
Yeah.
You're gonna also, if you're at the next insurance meeting, you're gonna see an update on Norwich B, which appears to be getting started with, fixing their disaster. And we have a new one now in Waltham E, I believe.
Those are wooden buildings, right?
Both cases, they are wood frame buildings, yeah.
Yeah.
So same old story, took
Take down the-
out a wall and
Supporting wall.
yeah. So you'll hear about that at the next insurance meeting. New with you, Jerry?
Huh?
What's new with you?
Not really not, holiday coming up, that's it.
You guys might have noticed there are quite a few tipped over dumpsters. I took a weekend and just, it's 1,000 dumpsters, so even that you guys see me find 2 or 3 a week and maybe somebody reports them in, that doesn't keep up. And so we found quite a few that are completely rotted out. Problem is, now there's a shortage of dumpsters, so it's gonna take a while to replace them. But they were out on the property last week, marking them with red X, the one by your house.
Yeah, yeah.
The red X's, so they'll get replaced eventually.
Anything about the North Canal and that walkway over there that everybody bitch about?
Here's the problem with the North Canal. Dan's involved in it, and Laura Coffey as well. There's, the problem over there is nobody knows who owns it, right? We have the first strip as you come in, it's owned by UCO. Then you have the second strip, which is owned by Central Utilities. That's the company that Mr. Levy used to originally own the water system, the pipes. He sold that infrastructure to Palm Beach County Water Utilities. So it's a defunct company. So they got a strip owned by a defunct company. Then you got another strip that is owned by no one. There's no record of the strip. The actual canal is owned by no one. If you click on it on pop-up, nothing comes up. Turns out that that's an old county roadway easement that was never built. So what Dan and his group are working on is establishing, he hopes to establish now county ownership on it. In which case they would be responsible for dredging the canal. So that's what's going on there. As far as the temple's concerned, until that gets worked out. And I've made this clear to Mr. Krantz, Rabbi Krantz. There's nothing really can happen there. Once it's established that the county owns it, it's a simple matter for the temple to just go to the county and say, we like that piece. They'll give it to them, if they have to take care of it, pay taxes on it. An easement, for the pipe underneath it, but it's not something that's gonna happen overnight. Meanwhile, it stays closed off.
And they're no longer having services down there till November possibly.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
And people have left.
they went home, yeah. That's it.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
I say we adjourn that.
Let's go to lunch.
Good to
Thank
go.
you, everyone.
Joanne, thank you very much.